Hey guys, welcome back to Cancer Speaks. Let's begin. Welcome back to Cancer Speaks, all of you. Thank you for joining us today. So today I kind of want to talk to you about the beginning of this cancer journey, my own personal cancer journey, breast cancer journey. It's kind of difficult to kind of discuss with everyone. I've posted things, and of course I let the world know. I share with my students and staff and everything, but it's a whole year later, and I don't know, it's emotional. Like I've been very emotional this week, just even thinking about what to share with you all. So, I'm just gonna start from the beginning. So on August 28th, 2019, I received the most devastating call of my life. My life. It's very ironic that I was sitting in Harrisburg High School, John Harris campus counselor's suite when I received the call. We had just finished up a meeting, and I thought, okay, they were supposed to call me on that Wednesday, and it was about 5:15, and I said, okay, they're probably not going to call, it's very late. And just when we were about to leave, I received the call. I was so nervous. I took it, and there were two other principals in the room with me at the time, and they could tell that the conversation wasn't going very well, and so they were trying to excuse themselves. But at that time, I didn't want to be by myself, right? I was like, no, please don't leave. Hindsight, I feel horrible because they were the two who unexpectedly, at that moment, in that instance, heard about this devastating news along with me, and I'm not quite sure if that's the best way to break this type of news to people. So I've apologized to the two of them over and over again, but they said don't worry about it. But I just felt so horrible now because I'm thinking that was a lot for them to take in, because it was totally a lot for me to take in. So it was actually my primary care physician, the stand-in, because I actually had to see someone who was not my primary care physician because my primary care physician was out. So this was a substitute who actually got all of this stuff done for me. So she gave me a call, and she said she just received the biopsy results that I actually did the first day of school. And the results came back that I definitely had breast cancer. I immediately said, Jesus. I called on the name of Jesus. I didn't know what else to say. He is all I know. He's been my faith. He's all I've had all my life. He's been with me. He's walked with me. He's talked to me. He's lifted me. He's carried me through storms. And so the very first name I could think of was Jesus. And I just kept saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So I can't really recall and give you all specifics on exactly what she said after this is breast cancer. But I knew that I had to tell people immediately. I couldn't hold on to this information. The two principals reached out to my husband, and he ended up coming to the John Harris campus to meet me there because they didn't think I would be able to drive. But, it's amazing what you can do even in times of tragedy and things of that nature. So he did come. And so I'm sitting in one of the principal's offices, and I broke the news to my husband in that office. Very emotional. And as soon as I told him that it was breast cancer, he just dropped his head, and he was like, oh no. And so I knew we had a ride, and from that reaction, I knew I had to be very cautious when I presented this information to the ones that I loved. We didn't know where this was going to lead. And so those of you who don't know or not from this Harrisburg area where we live, I live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Evangeline Kimber was a dynamic principal at Harrisburg High School. It was at John Harris campus. She was a force to be reckoned with. And unfortunately, she also had breast cancer. However, she succumbed to breast cancer and she passed away. I can't recall the exact year. It was a little after Lisa Waller, who was the founding principal, director of SciTech, where I'm currently the principal, passed away. And so I found it very spooky, as my sister would say, or ironic, that I was in her building when I, the principal of SciTech, and at one point also the principal of the John Harris campus, because 2 years ago I was the principal of both campuses. discovered that I too had breast cancer. It was just so crazy and ironic. But moving forward, I was able to drive home, and I made a decision immediately. I told my husband, please take my youngest daughter to church. Our oldest daughter was away on campus at Temple University, so she did not know. But I needed to break this information to my closest sorors and friends and my sister and my cousin immediately. I could not hold on to it. So I called them all over to my house for an important meeting. My husband took my youngest daughter to church with him, and it was just so emotional. I told them that I'd been diagnosed with breast cancer, and the room was so silent. It was just silent. And so what do I do? Because I am known to be the person that people come to, that people call when they perhaps need advice or they need anything. So I immediately became the encourager for my friends and my family. I didn't know what else to do. So I told them all that we were going to be okay. And that became my standard line when I had to tell anyone who I loved, our church family. My standard line was, but we're going to be okay. And I didn't have a clue how we were actually going to be okay, but I knew somehow through faith and with God that we were going to be okay. Even if that meant that God was going to heal me on the other side of glory, I just had to tell everyone that we would be okay. So August 28th, 2019 will always be a day that I will remember forever. And as we're approaching the year anniversary, I get emotional because it's a reminder of the journey that I had to set up to come and to experience. And so all of my breast cancer survivors and warriors, you know exactly where I'm coming from. I never truly understood why people were emotional and why people were like, well, I can't come here or do this today because it's my breast cancer diagnosis anniversary. I'm just like, okay, but you beat it. Like, so what's the deal, right? But here I am. I'm creeping up on the year anniversary and I'm emotional. I'm thankful, obviously. I'm grateful. I'm not quite sure how much longer the Lord will allow me to grace this earth and to be here. But I'm grateful for what He's allowed me, how far He's allowed me to come. And through all the treatments and all the medicine and through all everything, I'm grateful that He's been just so good to me. He's been so good. So I'm glad we got this episode out of the way because I was so just worried about how I was going to share with the world when I found out that I had breast cancer, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to make it through. So here are my takeaways from it all. Be careful when you receive the phone call or when you're called into the office. If you receive a phone call, just my own personal experience, maybe not put other people in the room with you and, and force them to hear the information with you when may not be emotionally ready. So again, I apologize to Dwight Forster and Linda Cadero, who were the two principals who had to find out right with me. But I also thank the two of them for their love and their support. They have been with me ever since, and just always encouraging. But just be careful when you take the phone call and or when you go into the doctor's office. If you choose to go into the doctor's office or you're called into the doctor's office, my suggestion is also always take someone with you. The news can be so overwhelming. As I said to you earlier, you completely black out. Like, you don't know what else the doctor may be saying to you. So you want to make sure that someone is there to write notes or to hear everything that the doctors are saying to you, because you need that information. Some other takeaways is to, when you tell your close loved ones and your friends, I guess when I look back on it, I just maybe would have waited just a little bit until I had further information, like what staging it was, all that kind of stuff, because those were the questions that I immediately got. So what stage are you at? But I didn't have that information yet because I just received the information from the doctor that I was, had breast cancer. And so, yeah, those are just my takeaways from that. But always surround yourself with people who truly love and care for you. And I mean that sincerely. You know who love you. You know the people who actually love you. You know the people who actually have your back. Be aware of those individuals who are just around you for the attention. You're like, what are you talking about? Well, breast cancer and any illness, believe it or not, draws attention because people will take care of you. And that's why I believe some people don't tell because they don't want that attention. And some other people get that benefit from it. I know that sounds crazy, but other people can get benefits from the fact that you are now ill. So just be careful who you surround yourself with. Make sure you're around people who truly love and care for you because you're going to need that. This ride is going to be emotional. I told you we're going to laugh too. We're going to have a great time because there were a lot of funny moments that I've had during this breast cancer journey. But this very first episode, I just knew it was kind of going to be a little emotional because it was the day that my world came crashing down. Everything stood still. There was an eeriness. I felt like I was outside of a bubble, and I was watching someone I had no clue go through this because I never thought it would happen. Breast cancer doesn't run in our family. So I never thought it would be me, but it is me. And believe it or not, I kind of thank God that He allowed it to be me, so that I can share all of this with the world because we need to learn, and we need to grow from this, and we need to know how to support those who are struggling with the fact that they have this devastating disease. All right, guys, there you go. The day the world stood still, August 28, 2019. And I would like to dedicate this particular episode to Evangeline Kemper, who gave me my first shot at being an assistant principal. And thank you, Miss Kemper. I'm sorry I had to learn in your building that I had breast cancer, but I'm going to fight just like you fought. All right. Till next time, this is Cancer Speaks.